wonderful. Today was kind of was put on the books because there was interest among people just to have an open forum, just to chat with whatever is on your mind, good, bad, growth, what's happened in the past. And so I don't have an agenda, which might bother some people, but it's your agenda. And first of all, I want to start out and just let you thank the vestry who's here, point them out. David Carroll looks like he's leaving, but wave. Vestry member. Bill Swartz, here in the front row, just wave. Tom Lowry is our junior warden, waving and probably saying goodbye to junior warden business. Wynn Osborne in the back. Just a minute, people are moving. We got Bill Brisson, who's treasurer. Who else am I missing? Oh, Lee in the yellow coat, I shouldn't miss. Lee McGee. So those are your vestry members that are here, and they're all open to always being available for conversation if you have questions. So now I'm supposed to have my agenda, right?
Question before we...
Sure.
This is being filmed.
Taped,
right?
Yes.
And
would you like it not done?
No, I was just wondering, how do we tell somebody if they want to know about what we talked about? Where would they find this? Is it going to be on?
Okay, so we have the annual meeting coming up, lots going on. You'll get lots of information about the budget, about the future of Trinity, which will come from you. Are there specific questions now, or I can just kind of throw some things out that I think about?
I know that this year it's probably not possible, but in the future, has there been any discussion about increasing the amount of Trinity's budget that goes to outreach?
I'm going to defer that to the Finance Committee. Bill?
Okay. I would have to say that you have a couple of things going on as far as outreach. This basic question that you have as far as the percentage is basically a decision by the vestry. It's not a Finance Committee question. The other big piece of this is Ann Farry's very generous gift to outreach. Finance Committee also does not consider that to be their decision. That's really something to be discussed with the vestry, although from a financial standpoint, my own personal opinion excuse me, is rather than parceling this thing out, this thing called the Farry Grant or whatever, in little pieces and it going all over the place, it's really an opportunity for Trinity to perhaps take on another mission similar to Family Kitchen or some other type of outreach where we can really make a big difference in the community as opposed to helping little groups in little chunks. My personal opinion, vestry has the final decision, but I hope that that's the direction it might go.
Further comment?
I have another question in regard to that. In some of the funds, there's restrictions as to how much of the principal can be spent, you know.
That's correct.
Is that part of this
It is not.
fund?
The two gifts from Ann, one which went to the maintenance budget and one went to outreach, have no restrictions on them other than they must be used for those particular missions.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
So just a follow-up with Bill, the vestry is considering what's best for the Farry gift and outreach, and whether it's prudent to invest it so that it brings in return for a long period versus just dispersing the full amount immediately and having it to go to whatever outreach organizations are certainly in need of it, but that's quite a big chunk of money that she has gifted to us. So it might be very prudent that we do invest it and then take the interest out or a small portion yearly. that's something the vestry is considering and we'll be talking about further. Anne?
Have we come up with a way to pay for the new staff insurance without completely going into the red?
Yes.
Sorry. Tag
No, that's
team.
good.
Sorry.
I hadn't formulated my thought.
Well, you know, it's two aspects of this. One of them is that, you know, we gave Jan and Mark a raise to cover insurance and then a raise on top of that to cover the taxes they were going to have to pay them. As it turns out, the insurance that has been selected under the national plan is a wash. Essentially, there is no additional monetary commitment from us. But you have to understand that although we have met federal law, we have not met the requirement of the national church, which is to give these people parity with the rector. Their insurance is not near what our rector is getting. So at some point, hopefully, as the years go by, we can increase that coverage till we get to the point where there is some kind of parity.
And they're very satisfied
Oh, they are.
with the results of it. So their stability in insurance has been finally realized.
Yeah, and Jan, you know, part of this is also is that Jan's children have gotten to a point where she doesn't have to have as much coverage for them because they're covered under different things also. So that's also come together to help us out with this situation, or it wouldn't have been quite so good.
Yes?
Do we get our insurance through the national church, or only we get insurance that they approve of?
We get our insurance through the national church. They do not approve of any other plan.
And it's a good, equitable plan. Maybe even a little bit better than what they were able to do on their own. So they're very satisfied.
I think they're happy.
Yeah. Any other questions? So Bill can sit down and run back
I don't know
up.
whether this fits into any of the agenda or not.
Oh,
This
sure,
is
there's
a
no agenda.
report from the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. And there was quite a bit about how to reach out to computer illiterate senior citizens who need to be tied in to the national communication. There was quite a bit from about how youth-oriented it is. If you are 22 and you have $1 million to invest in some whatnot, it was all over the place, but they were deploring the inability for computer illiterate 85-year-olds to hook into. I spent one entire month at home staying off the icy roads, and it became critical that I could tie in to the communication systems because I was snowed in. And there was a lot on the Consumer Electronics Show, which was huge in Las Vegas, about they're completely ignoring senior citizens who couldn't figure out how to make their cell phone work with their friends in another city. And they were very critical of it.
Sure. I think we all
Go
find
to the
that
library, somebody may know what you're talking about.
we're all struggling to stay up with our kids and our grandkids, I'm sure.
I'm trying to remember 5 passwords.
Well, since this topic has come up and the website is my responsibility, and the video obviously is the thing that we have added recently. If you have any suggestions, I am not a designer. I'm a technical guy, so if there's something about how our website operates or should be reorganized, I am open to any type of. Barbara.
Well, 2 things. Number one, I think our website is fabulous.
Yeah.
I think
I'll give you the money later.
and secondly, is the vestry talking at all about solar for using the fire sorry, requests for solar? I'm just curious.
We haven't yet, but that would be a good topic to present to the Building and Grounds Committee to explore, because the Building and Grounds Committee now identifies near and future projects, and then they present their findings to the Finance Committee with approximate dollar amount, and then that's the flow of information now that's going on, which is really good. So that would be the area that you'd want to go to, because I know that the Buildings and Grounds Committee have toured both of these buildings extensively, and they've identified projects that need to be done right away and projects in the future. And that's a good idea. Solar is in our midst now, and definitely in our future.
It would reduce our carbon footprint substantially.
It would. Ann?
Are we going to get a new organist?
Are we going to get a new organist?
What? You want
Are you being a proxy for Betsy?
No, it just occurred to me that
There is an application out, or a request out there through, I'm not sure where, I can't say, but yes. If somebody knows of an organist that is looking for an extra job here, that would be great. Dawn's going to be gone at the end of June. Betsy has other obligations and may be tired of playing the organ. So we have it in our budget to hire a new organist or pianist or however. So we just don't have any leads right now.
How are you coming on the gun policy for Trinity?
The gun policy has been put into the Peace and Social Justice Ministry, and they're actually working on a policy to present, was my knowledge.
we actually have a policy, and we met about it last Sunday, and the committee, one thing that we said is that before we submit this to the vestry, although I'm kind of having second thoughts, there needs to be an education piece, and so currently we have a subcommittee working on how we're going to educate the, have the conversation with the congregation. However, as more and more bishops come out and just are making a statement saying our campus will be a weapon-free zone, I'm feeling less and less inclined to have too much conversation. But we'll proceed with what we planned.
Some people might be asking about other groups using our buildings. Shared maintenance is very much in effect. We have a schedule that's very comparable to whatever other churches and similar type organizations charge. And so St. Helens is being used more and more. We took the two offices down below that we used temporarily. They've been remodeled in as far as having carpet and new paint. They're available. They've got good access, outside access, rather than going in close to family kitchen. So I think that you will see our buildings being used extensively, we hope, with shared maintenance income coming in. I know the Bend Transportation is meeting here monthly. It's interesting that the city of Bend is finding us to be a nice location. Of course, we all know that the hang-up that we can't do anything about is parking. But that's what happens when you stay downtown and you have limited parking spaces. They figure it out. So if there's always, questions about how the use of the building, we're certainly promoting it more and more.
Well, that brings us back to electronic communication and more ride sharing.
Yes, yeah. think that you might be aware that there's a new video system that, correct me, Bill, if I'm wrong, a new video system that's been installed over at St. Helens, which is very, very upper technologically ready for big conferencing. The Trinity Institute is going to stream in a 3-day conference over there. So, you know, our technology is getting better and better. It's whether we know how to operate it, which we do.
I'm getting older and dumber.
No, I don't think you're getting dumber. You might be getting older, like we all are, but anyway. John?
You kind of hit a hot button for me on this electronic. I come from the age of mimeographs. You know, carbon copy.
Carbon paper.
And I think one thing that we have had help in is that I'm in a retirement home. And one thing that wasn't covered is that as we get older, we lose our memories. And I think one of the first things I learned or worked on in computers was email. Well, I'm having a flock of problems with my email. So I get my son, my grandson, you know, and they're far away so they can't come in routinely for this. We have had high school groups come in to answer some of our questions at the retirement center. And I think it's almost necessary, because I say as we don't know a lot, but we have forgotten a lot. And to go back and ask questions that I should have been able to answer on the second day of my introduction to computers, it's almost embarrassing. So I don't know if this is an answer to get high school people to come in here, and they were very anxious to come into us and maybe here, or real techs come in and to have a time of half an hour or an hour maybe to answer basic questions, or maybe even classes to refresh.
What drives me nuts is every once in a while they have an automatic update which upsets the entire apple cart, and by the time you figured out the update, they have another automatic update.
You forget what an update is. Well, I don't know what the answer is, but we sure need help on this. Yes.
Julie?
Well, it is Hank's Helping Hand Sunday over here, and so I will use this opportunity to say that we have a person, Jack Crowell, who is administrative assistance person, and all you need to do is call him, and he wishes he would be called more. So, John, call him.
So the other thing, we have a wonderful library resource room. You know, something could be put together for a small group session in there, which could be even iPads, cell phones, your laptop, whatever.
John, this might be the beginning of something to think about for outreach for the community. If we had a few laptops that people could come in, and some high school kids that would volunteer their time, the seed money would come from here, the place would be here, I think people would show up.
What? I don't disagree with you. It's a matter of who would like to, you know, spearhead that, and maybe Jack's it, maybe, I don't know.
I have a smartphone and a dumb owner.
Jim?
Take that a step further with having some laptops. How about if we had laptops available to members of the congregation who are in the hospital or at home and are unable to attend, and give them the opportunity and the knowledge of how to hook in to Trinity and all of its outreach and the videos, the sermons and such.
Those are good things for us to work into the future.
I think the high school program is an organized program that is mobile and can go places. So I think you just have to call, and it wasn't a unique thing to your home, I don't think. It has a name and I can't remember it, but it's in the bulletin pretty regularly or the source as place
Did
to
everybody
go.
get that?
I don't know you.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of in and out. I'm Chris Craig. I'm an old Episcopalian.
Great.
Newer in town and kind of dipping my toe back in.
Well, welcome.
I'm never shy to speak.
So I've got to end this because I've got another hat on, unless you'd like to finish it for me.
No, but I've got to move this to the next.
Okay. My question is...
Although I'm sorry, I do want to say something. I'll shut this off in a moment, but I'll say this, we are long on ideas here at Trinity, and this is very typical, but we are short on people that want to grab those ideas and make them work. So if you've got an idea and you want to grab it and make it work, come to the vestry and present it.
Thank you. Would you like to have occasionally other just general meetings like this?
Yes.
Okay, I'll share that.
It went under the door.
But thanks for coming. I need to go down and usher. Ken's got it. But